1.
Hello, my name is Isabella Perez, Recreation Leader for the City of Socorro. Thank you for joining today's meeting. Before the meeting begins, we would like to remind our guests to remove all hats and silence all electronic devices. No disruptive behavior or outbursts will be tolerated, and violators are subject to ejection and possible prosecution.
Hola, mi nombre es Judy Rodríguez, secretaria de Planificación de la Ciudad de Socorro. Gracias por participar en la reunión de hoy. Antes de que comience la reunión, nos gustaría recordarles a nuestros invitados favor de quitarse los sombreros y silenciar todos los dispositivos electrónicos. No se tolerará ningún comportamiento perturbador ni exabrupto y los infractores estarán sujetos a expulsión y posible procesamiento.
Las personas que necesiten asistencia de intérprete, favor de acercarse a la mesa ubicada a la izquierda de la sala.
It is 6:23 p.m. This meeting is called to order. Item number 2, Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Item number 3, Establishment of Quorum.
Rubén Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Here.
Alejandro Garcia.
Here.
Mayor Ivy Avalos.
Here.
Rudy Cruz.
Present.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to move Arterial 1 up on, that is item 20.
Second.
Rubén Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Planning and Zoning, item number 20, Presentation, Discussion, and Action to accept the Alternative Analysis Summary Report and its recommendation for the alignment of Arterial 1, 1682 Boulevard from I-10 to FM 2058 Socorro Road.
Motion to delete.
Second.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Lorraine Quimiro, City Planner. The City of Socorro and our consultants are currently reviewing and revising the Arterial 1 Alternative Analysis Summary Report based on current conditions. No Environmental Policy Act, a NEPA, decision has been made at this time. Also, no action from City Council is required. As we continue to follow the environmental NEPA process, the public will be informed and they will have the opportunity to comment on the project throughout the development. At this time, staff recommends deleting the item.
Do we have speakers?
Yes, we do, Mayor. We have several speakers. Our first speaker is Lorena Silvestre Tobias. Ms. Tobias, you have a minute and a half.
Good afternoon. My name is Lorena Silvestre Tobias, and I am one of the leaders with EPISO. Mayor Avalos, Councilman Reyes, Councilman Nevares, Councilman Garcia, Councilman Cruz, Councilwoman Colón Villalobos, and City Manager Adriana Rodarte. We want to be clear, we're not against the project itself. It is important to have proper planning to relieve traffic congestion in our communities. However, we strongly oppose federal and state dollars be used to build the road through a community that is made up of those who are the most vulnerable: elderly, children, individuals with disabilities, and individuals with limited English proficiency without the basic right of proper representation. For decades, the family along Bauman and Vineyard have struggled to build a life that has been threatened on many occasions, and unfortunately, at the twilight of their lives, when they should enjoy the fruits of their labor, here they are again, faced with a possible prospect of relocation, when for decades they have seen the city grow around them. New developments popping up left and right, around them without the proper infrastructure to support these neighborhoods. Residents in the area don't even have sidewalks, and some don't have basic utilities. Many built their homes with their own hands and hard work. They have been able to sustain their properties throughout the years despite the many challenges. You talk about a study that concluded that this is alternative. Alternative one is
Ms.
the most
Tobias, your
viable.
time is up. Joe Serafin.
Good afternoon. My name is Joe Serafin. Good afternoon. My name is Joe Serafin. I'm one of the leaders of EPISO, and I represent the community that's along Bowman Road. So I'd like to give a brief breakdown of your report according to the 161-page document that we obtained. So we'd like to ask if, first of all, do we have all the documentation that the City Council has regarding Arterial 1? If not, we'd like to formally request that all documentation be provided to the community so that we can review it. Furthermore, we'd also like to address the following, that the report states that Alternative 1 impacts colonias the worst, and as you can see here, it has the most public opposition. Alternative 2 has the lowest cost and the highest traffic usage. Alternative 3 has the highest amount of right-of-way acquisition and is the most expensive because it impacts commercial and agricultural property. However, we'd like to make clear that at the time that the study was first petitioned or recommended, that at that time, neither in Arterial 2 or 3 were there any housing developments being taken place at that time. However, as of right now, there is housing developments in those locations. So we would
Mr.
like,
Serafin, your time is up.
thank you.
Dalila Hermosillo.
Good afternoon. My name is Dalila Hermosillo. 33 years ago, my parents purchased the property at 300 Bowman Road and built their first home there. I have many family members along Bowman Road. There's about 5 of us there, 2 across from the school. I want you to know that if you build on Bowman Road, you are not only tearing down buildings and lots, you are tearing down the last memories of my deceased father, his lifelong legacy, and my forever home. You are tearing down my entire family. You are stripping my immediate and extended family from homeland security and our children from their inheritance. You're destroying our family compound that we have created and have been building since 1990. You are affecting my full family bloodline. This land is not just a piece of real estate. It's a symbol of my family's history, resilience, and enduring commitment to the Socorro community. My mother was notified about this project through a neighbor and did not receive an official notification. Not only is this unethical, but it is also an attack on our elderly community. No consideration was taken to notify the owners with the respect that they deserve. My mother also suffers from high blood pressure, and I believe that if this project goes forward, this will cause a deterioration in my mom's health. My mother is a widow with a set financial stipend that cannot fluctuate. Even when all compensation is considered, it would not offset the expenses that you will
Ms.
have
Hermosillo,
forced
your
my
time is
mother
up.
to face in this economy. Thank you.
Mauricio González.
Hello, thank you for opportunity to speak today. May we start? Timer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We propose that you take no further action until the following has happened. The community-led meeting with TxDOT and others who can answer in depth the questions we have about NEPA process and the studies conducted to date. A community-led conversation with the engineering firm you hired to conduct this study so we can have our questions about it answered. We also have, and that we received all documents from the City of Socorro about this project. We also would like to make it clear that we are not seeking to delay this item to a near or far future. We want to make sure the NEPA process will be followed in its entirety and the most viable alternative takes into account not only the factors presented in the 19-page PEL report, but a thorough CIA report is performed. We formally requested Request that any meetings addressing Arterial 1 in the future have a simultaneous Spanish translation, and that all documents and presentations be translated into Spanish as well. Lastly, and most importantly, we would like to officially request that for any future action the council will take on this project, we will be notified at least 1 week in advance, if not more. We will provide you with the phone numbers and emails of those notified. We have time. I also have my own other comments. I have a vision that maybe we could have a efficient bus route, maybe that we could do that with $50 million.
Mr.
Sidewalks.
Gonzalez, your time is up.
Okay. Thank you.
Mónica Garcia.
Ladies and gentlemen, the interpreters need every speaker to speak clearly into the microphone so they can correctly interpret what you're saying into Spanish.
Can you hear me? Yes? Okay, excellent. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm here in representation of some members of the community who are either not, they don't feel comfortable speaking in public, so I have some comments from them. So first of all, I want to tell you that it's important that as representatives of your communities, you stand on the right side, on the correct side of your community. Your community is asking from you to please reconsider, because this is important to them. We have elders in our community that have lived here for generations, and they are part of the cultural heritage of this particular community. And it is important to consider that and not displace them. This is why I'm going to read some of their testimonies today, and to consider that. Don't go down in history as the people who displaced all the elders that you see here today. Don't go down in history with that. Go down in history with innovation, with ideas, with progress that includes the community. And you are also getting their input on what does that look like. Quality of life is for everyone, including them, everyone here. So consider that and think of that when you're making these progress plans. And so this here is from Alma Jime. I have been living in Bowman Road for over 35 years. It is a quite nice neighborhood. After finding out about this road construction.
Ms. Garcia, your time is up.
Okay, thank you.
Harvey Healy.
Thank you, Mayor and council persons. Excuse me. I own the property along Vineyard Road, which has been farmed for about 98 years by my family. And I hope when y'all start looking at this and the environmental impact, that you do look at how it affects agriculture if you're looking to have agriculture in your community. I've been associated with 2 other projects, the Horizon Widening Project and the Clint Cutoff Project, and neither one of them was looking at the impact, environmental impact on agriculture. In other words, there was not an ag economist looked at, there wasn't an ag engineer looked at, there wasn't a hydrologist that looked at the proposed study for the environmental impact on agriculture in those areas. So I wish you'd make that part of your environmental plan. So with that, I'd just like to say that this is probably the business that I'm managing at this point in time is probably the oldest business in Socorro. So I wish y'all take that into consideration. Thank you.
Bernardo Reyes. Bernardo Reyes.
Have the officer announce the names up there if they're not in here. Officer Rodriguez?
Officer Rodriguez, can you see if Bernal Rodriguez is back there?
Bernardo Reyes.
Bernardo Reyes? Reyes.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Bernardo Reyes. I lived in Socorro, Bauman here for 24 years. And what my question is that Socorro is saying that they want to alleviate traffic on, to make this road supposedly all the way to Socorro Road, you know? What my question is, why can't Horizon Boulevard be extended all the way to Socorro Road? Horizon Boulevard is already there all the way to Alameda. Horizon Boulevard runs all the way up to Agua Dulce. Why do we have to make this little 3-mile road, Bauman Road, into a big project when we already have Horizon Boulevard? Also, the Clean Cutoff could be used all the way to Socorro Road. We have a lot more options. So Socorro cannot say we're gonna run out of options because we've got too much traffic. Heck, this road right here. If Socorro planners were doing their job, they could plan to make this road all the way to the gateway. And people, it would alleviate traffic on Horizon Boulevard. Moon Road runs all the way to Alameda. As a matter of fact, Moon Road runs all the way to Socorro Road. That road could be extended all the way to Gateway. Even Bauman Road could be extended right there to the Gateway. But you don't need to make it into a big old expressway, you know, and displace all these people when you already have a lot of options. So Socorro cannot sit here and say, we don't have options. The state of Texas is giving us this and that or whatever. I think that we should look into the other options that Socorro has. Thank you.
Okay, quiet, please. We need to let the speakers talk. Quiet, please.
Silvestre Suarez.
Hi, good evening. Operations foreman for Haley Farms, and we farm along Vineyard. And if that project goes through Vineyard, you're just not gonna affect all the community, but at the same time, you're gonna put some of my guys without work. The reason why, if you go through that, decide to go through there, you're gonna eliminate a ditch, which means I'm gonna have to reposition my ditch, relaser my field, and that takes a lot of work. And on top of that, while we wait, it's gonna be a couple of years before my men go back to work. So that's why, take that in consideration. That's all I gotta say. Thank you.
That's it. That's all the speakers?
Yes.
How about public comment? Do we have speakers for public?
Yes.
Were we taking them together?
We're doing item number 20.
There's already a motion and a second.
Okay, to delete, okay.
Okay. Ru-
Oh, right. So I'd like to make a statement to our community before we proceed. The Arterial 1 project is scheduled to let in 2028. That's 5 years from now. So this project is needed to accommodate increased traffic volumes due to the increasing population and development, and to address congestion and a lack of connectivity in the region. Right now, we are in the beginning stages of further analysis, and during this process, there will be more public meetings that will allow our residents to voice their comments and concerns. It is worth noting that our initial public engagements took place virtually due to the pandemic in 2021. Recognizing the importance of direct communication, we held additional in-person meetings in 2022, going above and beyond the requirements. The City of Socorro prides itself on its transparency and commitment to addressing the unique needs and concerns to our families. We are here to listen, engage, and work collaboratively for the betterment of our community. Thank you.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Iván Colón Villalobos.
Yes. So item number, I'm sorry?
Public comment.
Item number 4, public comment.
Mayor, we have several speakers. Our first speaker is Saul Sosa. Mr. Sosa, you have 3 minutes.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for your time. I want to apologize to everybody. I didn't realize there's a bigger project going on. Mine's super small. It's a smaller issue. I'm a resident of 683 Worsham Road. I've been there for 4 years now. Lived in Socorro for about 33 years. Of those 33 years, I can say that there's 2 neighbors behind me that live on Worsham Road with well water, no basic utilities. To the day, excuse me. We don't have sewer. We don't have Texas gas. We have electricity. I still got a citation yesterday because I have an RV parked on my property and I have power to it. So I can have fresh water when I'm on my property working it. So I didn't realize that City of Socorro was so particular about having an RV parked when there's graffiti, there's dead dogs on our ditch, the street is not paved, there's no sidewalks, we have very poor lighting, we don't have Texas gas, we don't have sewer, we live on septic tank and it's 2024 still. Those are my issues. So I represent Worsham Road, not this, the residents of Bauman and other issues that's going on, but again, I don't know what the next plans are and when they're gonna move to do something about that. Has there been any movement, Ms. Rularte? We've been talking since 2020.
Yes, sir, it's public comment, so we can contact you.
Okay.
over the phone.
Well, since 2020, we've been working on this issue back and forth with Texas Gas, Lower Valley Water. Nobody does nothing about it. So there's email traffic, there's correspondence, nothing's been done. So I just want to know when there's going to be movement. I guess there's nothing, so thanks.
Mayor,
Ms. Villalobos?
just so you know, we're not allowed to, sir. Sir, we're not, it's public comment, we're not allowed to
Okay.
speak to you, but I know that if not myself, I will. One of us will get a hold of you.
Thank you.
This is the first time I hear about your situation.
Please, you're more than welcome to come by and swing by and check it out yourselves. Thank you.
Lorena Silvestre Tobias. Joe Serafin. Dalaila Hermosillo. Mauricio González. Mónica García.
You have it, yes.
Ms. Garcia, you have 3 minutes.
Oh, 3 minutes, okay. Thank you. So I'm going to read Rose Solis' testimony here. Thank you again for the opportunity. Hello and good afternoon to everyone in attendance. My name is Rose Solis, and my parents are Raul and Guillermina Solis, who currently reside at 11241 San Isidro. My parents have lived in this place for 40 years. This house was once only a dream, but 40 years ago, that dream became a reality, and they too lived the American dream. They bought a house. Over the years, this house became a home where we created long-lasting memories as a family, a home that together we've built, a home where we've cried, laughed, sat around the dinner table throughout the years. My parents dedicated their lives to paying for this house to make sure that my sister and I would always have a place to call home. Since learning about the plans to demolish our home, my parents have been ill due to the stress and the anxiety that this news has caused them. My mother was recently admitted to the hospital. I can attest to that. I actually talked to her for chest pain and anxiety. This news has caused a great deal of unnecessary stress, causing both them sleepless nights and heartache. My name is Alma Himi. I have been living in Bowman Road for over 35 years. It's a nice neighborhood. After finding out about the road construction, now my family and I are under a lot of stress and worry. Don't get me wrong, we're not against progress, but why does this progress have to be at our expense? We pay a lot of taxes and don't complain because we love our homes. We are willing to pay high taxes. We voted for all of you to help the people of Socorro, not to take our homes. I feel sick about this. Please give us a chance to keep what we've worked hard and for our land and our home. We don't have any place else to live. Everything is very expensive, especially at our age. And I just want to add that when you look at the maps for this construction, the squares in the maps represent people, not just squares. This project is affecting people's livelihoods. So please vote to move this road project to another area where existing elderly homes are not affected. I'm sure this is what's happening in your neighborhood. You wouldn't want to lose your own home, or you wouldn't want your parents to lose your own home. So this is.
Harvey Hilly. Bernardo Reyes. Silvestre Suárez. Verónica Carrillo.
She was outside? I think she's coming.
Ms. Carrillo, you have 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I'm just setting a timer and getting this up. Okay. I'm here today to give comment on behalf of the Rio Grande Neighborhood Association. I'm here today to speak on behalf of the Rio Grande Neighborhood Association. While our association is located in El Paso near El Paso High School, we feel compelled to unequivocally advocate for option 3 over option 1 for the construction of Arterial 1 in Socorro. We urge the council to consider the demographic makeup of the communities that would be affected. By considering the demographic data and the overwhelming public opposition to option 1, the city of Socorro will be aligning its decision with the spirit and purpose of the NEPA process, which emphasizes the need to consider both environmental and social impacts as well as public opinion. We ask that the city of Socorro choose option 3 for the construction of Arterial 1, as it would minimize social and economic and environmental harm to vulnerable communities. In addition to that, there have been concerns raised about not going with option 1, about legal issues that the city of Socorro could face, and also about funding that might be taken away. But the thing is that you all can choose option 3 as long as you have justification and rationale. And the reasoning to go with option 3 in order to have the least amount of impact on vulnerable communities is enough justification for you all to choose option 3. Thank you.
Elizabeth Bustamante. Ms. Bustamante, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. I am a 20-year resident off of Vineyard, but a lifetime resident of Socorro. So I understand the importance of the progress that we need to make in building this, but I also call on you and commend you for being open and transparent, because I would like for us to call on TxDOT to come and let us know what the environmental research says about Route 3. Again, we believe that that's the route that would make the less impact on the rooted families. I've seen our beautiful city grow from being a town to where my daddy used to say, don't vote for it to be a city because it's more corruption. And now I see the Far East having growth without being a city, but staying just part of the county. I believe in the fact that you will do what's best for our city, and hopefully it's not derooting those who open the doors when you all are asking for votes, and it's our parents who get us to the voting places, because we're not there because we are working. So we ask that you consider not derooting them, because they grew this place from the Caliche streets and one street that grew, that is now Socorro, where there was one light that was the, not even Americas, because it was from the bridge, and it was just the convenience store that was in front of Escondrias, and it was that one light that you would fall asleep from the bridge when you were coming over every night. So we ask that you do not deroot our families and consider other routes because not only are you making the financial benefit, which we saw the growth that we've made, and we thank you for it, but not at the cost of who made this city. So we ask that you consider maybe expanding Socorro Road, where you probably face other legal battles because of the history of those buildings. So before telling us that you're going to expand Socorro Road and expand our way through our vineyard and take our properties, and knowing that we cannot get the full value of our properties. Because now, when I go and look, because I was in the city and my kids were popping windows because they couldn't play baseball like I did on the street or on my backyard. So I came back to Socorro, made the conscious decision of growing my family, and now having another generation in my home because of the land that I have. So I encourage you to not take that
Ms.
away from
Bustamante,
us.
your time is up. Rene Rodriguez. Mr. Rodriguez, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Rene Rodriguez. I'm not one of the former councilmen. I share the same name, but I'm not. So I'm here asking you for you guys to do your due diligence. The TxDOT project was proposed a lot earlier than what it is now. So they did their studies based on information that's already years past. Since then, neighborhoods have been built in other areas that could have been construed as, say, a pathway for this, new roads and whatnot. And that being the case, all these new neighborhoods that were getting built, at that time, you could have proposed certain roads where the neighborhoods were going to be built to widen those roads to accommodate all those neighborhoods and all that traffic that went with it. Because now what you're looking at is you're looking at rural roads, farm roads, as Mr. Kelly stated. My father lives on Vineyard. We've been there for almost 50 years. We bought property from that gentleman. So the impact that goes not just in that area, you're looking at people to displacing them, not only by, these are people that have lived a long time there. These are elderly people. And on top of that, you're looking at when you're going to take their homes, you say, oh, we're going to give you market value. But what is really market value? Where else am I going to find a property that has half an acre with a house with 2,000 square feet for the price that what you're trying to offer me for it? So, because you're going to burden all these individuals that have done their whole life in this one area, and they have this generational wealth to give to their kids, and then you're going to say, well, if you don't buy out, you're going to take whatever we give you. I said, that's another thing that you're going to impact them now, because now they're forced to be displaced and go somewhere else, and then accrue not just a new home or higher property taxes that they may not be able to afford. And these people that you displace might not live in Socorro anymore. They might have to go somewhere else. And the other question that I have with that is that this road, why is it proposed here? Like another gentleman stated, you have other avenues. Why can't you co-op with like Clint or San Elizario and come up with a road that goes through different areas and farmland? Because Socorro is going outwards. It's not coming inwards. All that traffic is going to come in this way. So you're saying that you're going to alleviate traffic, but in actuality, you're going to create more traffic because the outer limits of the city, all those people are going to come to the avenue that's most direct to them and the busiest. And other people have said the same thing. Environmentally, what does that cost to the people that live all the way around those roads? You're looking at traffic, okay? What else are you building besides just a road? There's no parks here for our kids to play or anything else. Why isn't money being spent on that? Why is that only a road that's proposed? Why not other projects besides that for the public? If you're saying that these things are in the betterment of the public, why not spend it accordingly for the public? Because you haven't taken into account anything with the public. You've kept us out of the loop.
Mr. Rodriguez, your time is up.
Thank you.
Mayor, those were all our people signed up for public comment.
Thank you.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to postpone item 18 and 19 till September 28th.
Second.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
Rudy Cruz. And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Moving on to consent agenda, do we have a motion?
Motion to consent?
Second.
Mayor, we have a speaker for item number 7, Jesse Montelongo.
Yes, which item am I going to speak on?
Sorry, Mayor,
Hello?
Mr. Martinez?
I think the motion should be substantive of what I heard. Maybe I heard it wrong, was motion to consent. Needs to be approved, sorry, reject, postpone, something like that.
Motion to approve consent agenda?
Second.
Yes. Mr. Montelongo?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Do I get to speak yet or not yet? Because I wanted to ask you all, I know I didn't sign up for general comment, but I did want to comment on 6 also, 7 and 12, those 3 items, and it's my fault, I'm sorry, because I'm reading the agenda as I'm talking to you on the phone. But I would like to speak on item 6 because I just want to ask questions. I just want to ask some questions, that's all.
Mr. Montelongo, so when you called in, you had signed up for agenda items 7 and 12, which is what we've recorded.
Okay, that's fine. I'll wait for 7. So can I speak on 7 or we have to wait for 6?
We're currently on 7, sir. That's why
7.
we're calling you to speak.
Oh, okay. On 7, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. But I wanted to ask you all about 7. The master plan for residential and commercial property on Lydia Road. Are you guys talking about the park by the canal where the handball court is? Is that what you're talking about, that park right there? I've seen that park before. I've been through that canal, and yes, I think hopefully you guys are going to improve it. But one thing I do want to mention is we need law enforcement to patrol the parks. And they never patrol the parks. They patrol the canals. They hide in the bushes. They go up and down the canal all the time. You know, I'm always helping them. But nobody takes care of the parks. That's why we have shootings in the park all the time, because they're fighting to see who sells drugs. It's a drug thing. We need police at the parks, and we need protection at the parks. People don't even feel safe walking at the parks. So if you're gonna do something right there on Lydia Street, by the park, by the canal, by Genevieve Street, we need police patrols. We're not getting police patrols at the parks. We're getting them in the wrong places. Yeah, the schools are fine. The SISD's there.
Mr.
But what
Montelongo,
about-
your time is up. Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Mayor, can we motion for a 5-minute recess?
Yes.
5 minutes only.
Do we have a
Second.
second?
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
Rudy Cruz. And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
It is 7:01.
What's the? regular session. Oh, not yet? We are now back in regular session. It is 7:09 PM. Regular agenda, public hearing and ordinances. Item number 9, public hearing on an ordinance adopting a budget for the fiscal year commencing October 1st, 2023, and ending on September 30th, 2024. It is 7:09 PM. Public hearing is now open. Would anybody like to speak on this item?
We have several speakers from them talk. Okay, all right.
As there are no speakers, public hearing is now closed at 7:10 PM. Item number 10, second reading and adoption on an ordinance adopting a budget for the fiscal year commencing October 1st, 2023, and ending on September 30th, 2024.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We do have Mr. Charlie here that will present the tax rate calculations, revenues, and expenditures for our 2023-2024 fiscal budget. It is the same presentation that we have been giving you for the last couple meetings.
The good news is nothing has changed. We do have the notice. We are using the voter approval rate. I'm sorry, I need to identify myself. Charles Casiano, Finance Director for the City of Socorro. And we are using the voter approval rate of 0.702 and some other numbers I can't see. But there's been no change on that. If we could go to the other, my little schedule there. I know with the help of the El Paso Appraisal District and the City of El Paso, we come up with the values that we use for both for the assessment and also for the tax rate. This year, we had an interesting development in that the voter approval rate was actually less than the no new revenue rate because we have reduced debt and our debt service for the next year is less than the previous year. And that's the cause of it. If we could go to the general fund budget revenues. We've taken the calculation from that sheet and put it on to the first two items on the general fund revenues of the property taxes and delinquent property taxes, approximately 8.7 million. We're looking at an overall budget about 15 million. The other large budget item is the sales tax, which have increased significantly in the last couple of years, and we're looking at 2.450, and that's actually fairly conservative.
Because that one is 1.4 and we're looking at 1.6.
That's true. This is, I think, from the previous meeting.
What's in the budget, in the backup?
In the current backup.
So page 47 is the correct rate at 1.6?
Correct.
Yes, 1.6.
The one that's on our backup documentation.
Right there. There we go. Can you make it just a smidge bit bigger? There we go. So based on all our efforts, we're looking at a budget of about 15.3 million. And if we were to spend all that we get, then we would be looking at a deficit, not a deficit, but a dip into the reserves of about 1.6 million. Included in the Included in the budget, of course, is an 8% COLA for all current employees. We're looking at some changes in the city manager's department, where we're going to add a custodial position at the tune of about $42,000, and also a deputy city manager instead of a city auditor, which netted out to about a $58,000 increase. We're looking at $134,000 of contract services for Public Works to work on our ponds, and also about $80,000 for the police department to pick up some equipment. And of course, we also included $216,000 for transportation services in the general fund. Overall, we're looking at, again, $15 million from the general fund. Special revenues about $6.9 million. Capital projects, $8.6 million. Included in there, though, is the Texas Water Development Board of still about $6 million of that is that. And of course, debt service is about $2.3 million. And those are the highlights for the budget, and we recommend adoption. Do you have any questions? I know it was a little exciting, but you know.
I do.
Sir, you're the highlights.
Yes.
Ms. Villalobos, you have a question?
Yes, I'm sorry, apologies. Custodian, did we lose our custodian lady? No, ma'am. Oh.
We're adding a position for the police department.
Okay, I thought it was at administrative. I'm like, I love the way she cleans. It smells really good, right?
No.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Item number 11, discussion and action to ratify the tax increase reflected in the budget for the city of Socorro for fiscal year 2023 through 2024.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Martinez?
Good evening, Council. Jim Martinez, City Attorney. This might seem anomalous. The tax rate actually went down, but you're saying you're ratifying a tax increase. The reason is because in absolute terms, this year's M&O budget for maintenance and operations will raise more money than the tax rate last year raised for M&O operations. When that happens, the tax code says you have to have this separate agenda item.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colom Villalobos.
Yes.
Item number 12, public hearing on an ordinance authorizing the assessment and collection of property taxes within the city of Socorro, Texas, and further authorizing the El Paso City Tax Office to perform the actual assessment and collection of said property taxes on behalf of the city of Socorro, Texas, for the fiscal year commencing on October 1st, 2023, and ending on September 30th, 2024. It is 7:17 p.m. Public hearing is now open.
Mayor, we have a speaker, Jesse Montelongo.
Yes, thank you, City Council and Mayor. I would just like to address one thing. We have a lot of abandoned homes here in Socorro, and they haven't been paying their taxes. I know when you run for office, if you don't pay your taxes, you can't run for office. So we have a lot of properties here that are abandoned, and they're fire hazards, and some of the people have passed on, and they're gone. But are you guys going, I know you can't comment, but they need to pay their taxes. If not, we need to put a lien on those properties so we can buy them, and we can make them a feasible property, or we can do something besides just sitting here watching something deteriorate and fall apart. I got two here in around here in District 4, and I'd like to buy them, and I'd like to develop them, but I can't because I even called down to the tax office here in El Paso, but the owners are deceased. The property's still there. They're behind on their taxes. And are you guys going to enforce getting the taxes from those people or putting the property for lien? Because we need to do something. We can't be like this forever. It's like we're back in time. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I know it's been an ongoing problem, but there's a lot of abandoned properties, people that have left, and the houses are unfeasible to live in, or the trailers, or whatever they live in. But we need help, and we need to do something. If you guys are going to enforce the taxes and collect back taxes, I think that's a good thing. But we need to put a lien on those properties so other people can buy them and they can fix them. That's all I have to say about that one. But thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much what you do. But you guys are elected officials by the people, for the people. And yes, you're for the city, and I'm for the city also. I love this city. But you guys are elected officials. Remember that, okay? That's all I have to say. Thank you. And God bless Socorro, Texas, and God bless Texas.
Verónica Carrillo. Elizabeth Bustamante. René Rodríguez.
I don't see any other people back there. I think everybody left.
Those were all others that were signed up, Mayor.
Okay. As there are no more speakers, public hearing is now closed at 7:20 PM. Item number 13, second reading and adoption of an ordinance authorizing the assessment and collection of property taxes within the city of Socorro, Texas, and further authorizing the El Paso City Tax Office to perform the actual assessment and collection of said property taxes on behalf of the city of Socorro, Texas, for the fiscal year commencing on October 1st, 2023, and ending on September 30th, 2024.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Adriana Rodarte, City Manager. This item is to approve the ordinance on adopting of a tax rate of .7020211 and the assessment and collections of property taxes, authorizing the El Paso City Tax Office to perform those actual assessments and collections for the city of Socorro in the coming fiscal year of October 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2024. Do y'all have any questions?
In the interest of clarity, I would make the rate part of the motion. To approve the item and adopt a rate of .702021 per $100.
Would you repeat that, please?
Yes, ma'am. The motion should be to approve the item and adopt a tax rate of .702021 per $100.
72021?
702021.
Okay.
Per $100.
Per $100.
Yes.
Motion to approve the tax rate at 702,021 per $100.
It's .702.
Approve and adopt.
It's .70202.
Okay, sorry. Motion to approve the tax rate at .702021 per $100. Thank you.
Second.
Do we need to add the adopt word in there? Okay.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colombia Lopez.
Yes.
Item number 14, public hearing on an ordinance of the City of Socorro, Texas, adopting the amended organizational chart for the City of Socorro.
Motion to approve.
Oh, wait, it's a
Oops.
public hearing.
Sorry.
It is 7:23 PM. Public hearing is now open. Would anybody like to speak on this item? As there are no speakers, public hearing is now closed at 7:24 PM. Item number 15, second reading and adoption of an ordinance of the City of Socorro, Texas, adopting the amended organizational chart for the City of Socorro.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This action approves the amendment of the City of Socorro organizational chart fiscal year 2023 to 2024. Amended reflects all changes to the job descriptions and added positions, which it reflects the deputy city manager, administrative assistant to code and animal control with cross-training and certified to provide animal control assistance, the custodian for PD, and training sergeant to reflect PD's organization. Do you all have any questions?
Mr. Cruz?
So basically no changes, just additions?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
Rudy Cruz. And Ivan Colombia Lopez.
Yes.
Item number 16, public hearing of an ordinance for the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of Lot 18, Block 3, Friedman Estates, Unit 1, located at 11531 Ernest Road, Socorro, Texas, from R1 Single Family Residential to R2 Medium Density Residential to allow for apartments. It is now 7:25 PM. Public hearing is open. Are there any speakers for this item? As there are no speakers, for the public hearing is now closed at 7:26 PM. Item number 17, second reading and adoption of an ordinance for the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of Lot 18, Block 3, Friedman Estates, Unit 1, located at 11531 Ernest Road, Socorro, Texas, from R1 Single Family Residential to R2 Medium Density Residential to allow for apartments.
Motion to deny.
Do we have a second?
Second.
I have a question for Jim.
Go ahead.
Jim, when there's a motion to deny, can a member of council make another motion to discuss?
There is no such thing as a motion to discuss. If the
Can we
motion is
discuss?
to deny, you can certainly have discussion on that motion.
Yeah, so I'd like to open up for discussion then.
So,
Yeah, that's,
yeah,
you
you
can
have
certainly
to
discuss it with
approve,
a pending
deny.
motion.
With questions, right? We can
Yeah,
just- okay.
after Ms. Quimito speaks, then we open up for discussion.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Again, Lorraine Quimito, City Planner. Item number 17 on the agenda for your consideration is the rezoning of Lot 18, Block 3, Friedman Estates, Unit 1, located at 11531 Ernest Road. The request is to rezone the property from R1, single-family residential, to R2, medium-density residential, to allow for apartments. The applicant, Mr. Raymond Marcus Ponce, is not in attendance today. Some background on the rezoning request. Again, the property is single-family residential. The lot is 7,500 square feet in size.
That's small.
The land use is residential. The future land use proposes single-family residential. Staff recommends denial of the rezoning request, and the Planning and Zoning Commission voted to deny the request at their October 15th meeting. The property is located just north of Ernest Road and Telope Road. And as you can see, the neighborhood is, the property is surrounded by single-family residential zoning. Here is a picture of the property. You can see the building at the front and a building to the rear. The two buildings existed before the City of Socorro became a city, and the buildings, from what I understand, became kind of unkept. The applicant purchased the property to improve it, did not gather any of the permits that were required. He was told to stop his remodeling and pursue the rezoning request, if that is what he wanted to, if he wanted to continue with the construction of the remodel of the 2 buildings, 4 apartments. He did not do that. It took a while for him to get the site plan to get all of the requirements for the application to move forward. The next slide shows an aerial of the property. And the next slide is, again, another aerial, but a larger view of Friedman Estates Unit 1. Property owners within 200 feet of the applicant property were notified of the request and given the opportunity to speak. There were no letters returned in favor of these rezoning requests. We did receive 1 email against the request. And we can zoom in. I do. Basically stating that 3 units was too much for the size of the lot. There wouldn't be enough open space and room for the tenants to have enough space for their daily activities. The next slide is a survey of the property, followed by the site plan. The site plan shows the 2 buildings. The building in the rear has 2 units, both 385 square feet. The building in the front is 1 proposed unit at 800 square feet, 6 parking spaces. Ponding area and landscaping are depicted in the site plan, with the R2 zoning 2.5 units would be allowed. And with that, staff can answer any questions.
Ms. Villalobos?
So I have several questions. One, how many between, so you're saying it's 3 buildings, but at one point it was 2 buildings?
It's 2 buildings.
Okay, but they're requesting 3?
3 units.
3,
One
okay.
unit up front and 2 units in the rear.
In the rear. And they were already there prior to, these buildings existed prior to?
The City of Socorro's incorporation.
Incorporation, okay. But once they decide to change them, they lose the grandfather rights? What happen, if they were to be denied, what happens? They would have to
decide which building is the main structure and what they want to do with the second building. This is a difficult situation because the building in the rear is larger and they would not be able to keep the front building as an accessory building. If they wanted to keep the front building, they wouldn't be able to keep the rear building because it is larger than the main building.
Mr. Cruz?
So if, correct me if I'm wrong, all auxiliary structures must be located behind the main residence, which is the front one, which is smaller than the back unit. It's got a brand new roof, brand new doors, 2 units, got new AC units.
He was told to stop.
Yeah, I know.
Because, and he, I'm sorry that he's not here to answer your questions himself. He spoke at the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. He wants to continue to do these things.
Yeah.
He invested a lot of money. When asked, did you know you needed permits? He said, yes, I know I needed permits and didn't get them.
Well, it's a very nice mother-in-law suite, yeah. So that's why I wanted to ask you all, what happens with this? He's got to identify with the city, his main residence, and then the auxiliary structure would obviously be the one in the rear, correct?
Yes, but it's larger than the one in the front, and
Yeah, and the separation, I guess, just to clarify some confusion, is they were gonna add 2 more water meters, electrical and all that stuff to I guess, separate the 3 units, right? We see 2 structures, but it becomes 3 units once you add those amenities to the structures. And right now, that's just not gonna fly, because the square footage of the lot isn't even big enough for it to even qualify as such, right?
R2,
Yeah.
if you wanted to approve 2 units or 3, that'd be at the discretion of the Planning and Zoning Commission, City
Yeah,
Council. If you'd like to pursue a variance request to address some of the setback or the structure in the rear, it's a very,
Yeah, but
very
see,
large,
we
very
find
large.
ourselves doing it for one, so we have to do it for all.
Mhm.
And it makes it difficult, you know? So, all right, thanks, Ms. Kimmy.
Mr. Reyes?
I'm a little lost here with, no, I guess the question was the same. If they were to deny it, they would have to tear down one of the buildings. Could they come back and, instead of 3 apartments, could they come back and say 2 apartments maybe? Or
It would have to wait another year to make the request for a zoning change.
I just can't see, I mean, if it was my property, of course I would have gotten the permits, right? But I can't tell the owner, you know what, no, tear it down. It's very difficult.
I don't think he has to.
You can try, and the next step might be to request a variance, but it would still be for a single-family home with an accessory
It's just a really
building.
nice garage after that.
Yeah.
Like, this is my house up front and my garage is in the back, that's all he can.
No.
It's his auxiliary.
Studio,
structure,
it's an
Okay.
accessory building, so
Accessory
it,
building,
accessory
yeah.
to the main building.
no? Yeah, that's what it is, it doesn't tear down.
It looks like 4 apartments.
Okay. Ms. Villalobos?
So that was my question. What if they were to increase the size of the front property with permits, with blessing, with whatever they need, and it would be larger than the building in the back? Then that building could it become other than a garage or a storage?
It's still just an accessory building if it's still
Okay.
R1 residential, single
Okay.
family.
All right, so it couldn't be
And
a
I
mother.
don't know how much more building footprint the lot would be allowed to. It's already, because it's an older structure, it already doesn't meet the required setbacks.
Oh, that was my other question.
That's
Okay.
what I was gonna say. It doesn't. What about the ponding? The pond, is that sufficient for this lot?
On-site bonding.
On-site ponding,
Yeah, is what they put on this site plan, is that sufficient?
sufficient. You can't see what is the depth of the ponds?
And then the parking is just horrible.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Jose Botello, planner with the City of Socorro. We asked them to provide the site plan with the calculations for a ponding area. So in this case, the applicant complied, and I'm not too sure if we can zoom into the site plan, but they do have a dedicated ponding area, which we do believe is adequate.
So they
It's
have
on the-
3 of them, right?
Yes.
Two small ones and 1 large one.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Garcia?
So, Ms. Quintero, can we have the reasoning behind the denial?
They did not apply for any of the permits. There aren't any other approved rezones to R2. Again, it's an older neighborhood, so there might be some properties that have more than one resident on the property, but those are grandfathered.
And then you told him to stop building and
The
he
building
kept doing
official
it.
saw that there was work being done and told them to stop. They needed permits, that needed to apply for zoning if you wanted to have apartments in the rear.
And did he?
No, he didn't stop. He continued,
So
completed the work.
he continuously kept breaking the law?
Mhm.
Our law?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Ruben Reyes,
No.
Cesar Nevares,
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia,
Aye.
Rudy Cruz,
What was the motion again?
to deny,
Motion to deny, yeah.
and Ivan Colombia Lopez.
Yes. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Mayor, how many more items do we have?
We have to go into executive as well.
I'm going to excuse myself, I'm sorry. I've been dealing with something at the house, and I have an emergency, though I have to leave.
Okay. Well, moving on to Information Technology Department, item number 21, discussion and action to approve the purchase of one Model Z-6034 articulated boom from United Rentals 616 in the amount of $59,187.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Good evening, Mayor Council. This item is to approve for the purchase of one Model Z 64/34 articular boom. This was budgeted with our current general fund. This boom is going to be used throughout the departments, not just mine. And it's for future projects, upcoming projects, obviously the cameras, all of that we use it for. The vendor is part of a co-op purchase network, the Sourcewell contract, 062320 URL, so which meets all the purchasing requirements, procurement requirements. So we're just asking for your approval.
You have a question?
Yes.
Mr. Reyes?
One is, what kind of warranty does it have? And then second, is it a lot of difference on getting a new one? I see this one's used, right?
Yes, this one's used. It is a 2014 model. It has about, I think 20-something hours on it. I can't remember off the top of my head. But technically, it's still considered new because the hours are so low. It is a 4x4. If we get the same one new, we're looking in the hundreds of thousands.
Okay.
And we're looking at maybe 2 years before we get it. There's a huge backwater on them.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, you have a question? Mr. Garcia?
Sorry. What is it?
What?
A boom.
The articulating boom?
Okay, that's, oh,
So
okay.
it's one of those, it has the bucket in the front. and
Oh,
then it
perfect, okay.
Lifts us out.
Yeah, I just didn't, I was gonna, sorry.
There you go.
My bad.
I have a presentation.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
I have an hour presentation if you guys are,
We're good. There it is. Thank you, thank you. Kinda figured it was a.
Cancel presentation. It's been approved.
Ruben Reyes,
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
Rudy Cruz, and Ivan Colombia Lobos is absent.
thank you.
Moving on to Mayor and Council, item number 22, discussion and action to approve removal of vendor fees for the next 3 months for Socorro Sundays.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Would you like to introduce?
Yeah. This is my item, and it's just the removal of the fees for the vendors. Hopefully, we can get more vendors, get more people involved. Sometimes people get a little bit kind of discouraged when they have to bring in, and it's not even a lot of money. It's I think $30, but they gotta fill out their application, which they still have to do it. But at least they can get a feeling of it and figure out if it's gonna work for them. And hopefully we can get more,
It's only for Socorro Sundays or all events?
just for Socorro.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
Rudy Cruz. And Ivan Colombia Lobos is absent.
Do we have a motion to go into executive?
Motion to go to executive?
Second.
Mayor, may I suggest a slight change to the motion? For item number 26, I would suggest the motion would be to go into executive session to consult with your attorneys and to deliberate real property.
Motion to go into executive
For item 26.
to direct staff to research and negotiate acquisition of certain real property
And to consult your attorney.
and to consult with attorney.
Second.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colombia Lobos is absent.
Unmuted.
It is now 7:58 PM. We are now back in regular session. Do we have a motion to delete items 23 through 25?
Motion to delete items 23 to 25.
Second.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colombia Lobos is absent.
Item number 26, discussion and action to direct staff to research and negotiate acquisition of certain real property.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
Rudy Cruz.
Aye.
And Ivan Colombia Lobos is absent.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Ruben Reyes.
Yes. Yes.
Cesar Nevares.
Yes.
Alejandro Garcia.
Aye.
Rudy Cruz. And Ivan Colombia Lobos is absent.
Meeting adjourns at 8 PM. Have a good night.